Welcome to the Windows Computer and Technology channel. And, one of the things that is important in being a business, and especially when we talk about Microsoft, a lot of it has to do with trust. Why do you use certain, software, or why do you buy this hardware from this manufacturer? And there's a lot of people that will buy it based on what they know. Of course, Windows in this case is something that a lot of people want to have a new PC with Windows because they know how it works. For the most part, they're used to it, and it runs what they want to run. And this is where it's always fun to see the comments, because there's obviously a lot of Linux fanboys on the channel. And I'm sorry, but for a lot of people, using Linux is not a option. And that is where it is for businesses mostly. For a lot of users, they'll come to the fact that, well, my favorite software doesn't win in Linux. And one that makes me laugh all the time is when somebody says, well, you can use Wine, or you can use, you can emulate. And you're going to go to the problems of having 100 million more things to do and configurations to do to run Windows, keep Windows. It's a funny thing, because I've gone through tons of Linux distros, and I still have to get on the videos. I know some of you would like of showing you some distros, and I need to absolutely make those videos. And the funniest thing about it is that, as a enthusiast, and that's where the problem is with Linux, is that if you're kind of tech savvy and you know your way around, you find quite rapidly what you need to do to go around and do things you want to do in Linux. But it's funny how there's a lot of people that still think Linux can replace Windows completely, which it cannot. It cannot. And it cannot because there's a lot of specialized hardware out there that, won't work. And even if it does, I have some software-defined receivers here, multiple different versions. These, there's a software that works with them on Linux. But for the most part, you got one choice. Get it. In Windows, you got dozens of choices. This is why going away from Windows is not a possibility. It's not the way it works for a lot of people. And, and once again, I'm not a hater of Linux at all. I've used it a lot. Find it fun to dabble in it from time to time, to use a distro of some sort. And I like to look at a lot of the different distros, because there's all sorts of different ways of, having a different graphical user interface and so on. And kind of refreshing. But, for serious stuff, I have to go back to Windows. And for a lot of people, that's the case. There's a lot of comments of, well, with Windows 10, I won't pay for extensions. I will continue using it. Well, you do that, you're one of those that are calling tech guys, because as my tech guy years shown, is that when you're running an operating system that's not getting security updates anymore, you get bitten by malware at some point. And no antivirus protects you from that. And that's the funny thing, is when I see somebody saying that, and I can bet you, and because that's the other funny thing about what we see in human nature in the comments, is that half of all the comments of, I'm going to keep Windows 10 without updates, I'm going to go to Linux. The guys that go to Linux are already on Linux. They're not even going to Linux. They're already using it. And the others that would say that are lying. They'll be getting to Windows 11 or 12, or, once again, just look at the numbers of Linux and the operating systems. There was a slight increase up to about 4%. That's nothing. It's not going to go to 10 or 15 or 20. people are going to go to whatever Windows is going to be. And we talked about trust, and trust is the problem with Microsoft. People are not necessarily, don't want Windows 11 or don't want Windows 12 or, whatever is going to come. What they want is to have more of a sense of what I have in my PC and what I do is under my control. And I think one of the biggest problems with Microsoft right now, people are under the impression they're losing control. That, I see a lot of people saying, well, you don't own your PC, which is a false title. It's not true. You own your PC. You don't own Windows. You never did own Windows. When I see that today, it's a big joke for me because 20 years ago, Windows was not yours either. It is used. You have the permission to use it because you paid a license. But it does say in the user agreement that if you transgress that license agreement in some way, they could, if they want, revoke the license and remove, the use of Windows to you on your PC. And that was true in Windows 3, in Windows 95, in Windows XP. And today, there's nothing that's changed. Where it's changing is that because of the Windows as a service thing, a lot of the features are pushed in. Up to Windows 7, we didn't really have anything pushed to us much. A Windows operating system consisted of a certain number of software and a package that contained some things that we needed, but it didn't, suddenly get this new big flashy thing. It didn't have ads. It didn't have this new AI stuff pushed on us. This is the difference today with Windows as a service. What is the downside of Windows as a service is that if they decide to push some software on us, we have it. We just get it, and that's it. It is shoved to us, pretty much. And that's where a lot of the sense of losing control over PC is happening. For the rest, there's a lot of the privacy concern. There's also, the trust isn't there because there's no options. We talked about it so many times, the telemetry, why we can't opt out completely if we want to. Not everybody's going to opt out. Most people are going to keep it the way it is. Most people don't even know that there's telemetry anyways. Microsoft account. People want to have control. I like having a Microsoft account. I'm happy with it. But some people don't. And some people don't. Then give them the choice. Well, I don't want to have a Microsoft account. I just want to have my local PC. And, take the time to understand that to those local PCs that don't use Microsoft accounts, well, you're not going to push stuff. And that's why they want to push a Microsoft account. Because without it, they can't always push the features they want you to push. So, it's the problem is that a lot of people have lost trust. And because a lot of people lost trust, it's getting complicated for Microsoft to push things on us. It's really, really difficult to get that trust back once you lost it for a lot of people. And what they're doing, what Microsoft is pushing, well, that doesn't help. It ain't making things better. And, unless a lot of people complain, like the recall feature nowadays opt-in, Microsoft pushes things and forces you to have them. And, it's the same with the Copilot. I mean, why Copilot isn't opt-in? It's like, oh, would you like to have the assistant? Try it. And I know that a lot of people will try it, but most people will ignore it. Just like, even though it's installed, most people are ignoring it. So Microsoft has a big trust issue, and they need to fix their image if you want people to have less of an issue with certain things. But for the most part, The majority of people don't care. And that is why Windows will be continuing into the future. And adoption rates are going to continue with new versions of Windows as possible. The only thing holding Windows 10 back with such a high market share is because people hate change, and most people will not change as long as they're not, they don't have to. But come that date next year, I think we'll see a pretty big change, a drastic change in market shares of Windows 11. And who knows what's coming next, maybe a Windows 12. If you enjoy my videos, please subscribe, give us thumbs up. Thank you for watching.